Hello everyone, my name is Adamo and today I'm going to be showing off a task that I made for Naruto Ninja Council for the Game Boy Advance. This game goes really quick, so before I start the task I just want to say a few things about it. This is the second task that I've made for this game, the previous being a task using Naruto, who is the worst character. For that task, my goal was to beat the game faster than the current Sasuke world record of 14:01, which is the fastest RTA time. I was able to clear that goal with a 12-minute and 30-second completion. While Sasuke might have the fastest RTA time, Kakashi can be considered the best character due to his increased movement speed and jump height. There are some quirks to Kakashi's attacks which can often hurt him in RTA play, however in TAS we are able to turn this around and use his quirks to our advantage. My goal when I set out to make this task was to beat the game in under 10 minutes. I will talk a bit more about Kakashi's attacks in just a few moments. The last thing I want to say before we begin is that technically this task does not follow the rules on past videos, as I am beginning the run from a save state instead of from power on. This is because for some reason I was not able to save the game after unlocking Kakashi, so restarting the emulator would remove him from the game. Instead, I simply unlocked him and created a save state from the main menu. With all that out of the way, let us begin the task.
It's time to go now.
Naruto Ninja Council features 14 levels. Each level of the game includes a 2D platforming section followed by a boss battle at the end. In this first level, you will notice that we are simply trying to avoid touching anything on the floor, which would bring up a dialogue box or potentially damage us, and make our way to the first boss, Ibisu. Ibisu is a bit tricky as we initially need to knock him out of the tree, but once he's on the ground, we are able to stun lock him using Kakashi's incredibly fast attacks. While he's getting destroyed, let me try to explain the nuance of how they work. Kakashi's first attack of his 3-hit combo comes out on frame 6. If we press the attack button again on frame 5, the frame before the attack comes out, the hitbox for the first attack will come out for just a single frame, and the animation for his second attack will begin immediately on frame 6. Using this mechanic for all 3 of his attacks allows him to attack incredibly quickly and efficiently. If, however, we were to press the attack button on frame 4, 2 frames before the attack comes out, it would cancel the first attack and put Kakashi right into the second attack animation. This mechanic is also true for the second and third attacks of Kakashi's 3-hit combo. In RTA, this would sometimes cause attacks to simply not come out. However, in the TAS, it gives us extreme precision over how and when we want Kakashi to attack. You just saw us breeze past Ino, and there's not much to say about that level as it's very similar to the first one. We're now on Mountain Trail, which is in the second area of the game. We need to wait a few moments to let our chakra build up and then grab the scroll to use the jutsu to break down the wall. Once we do so, we are free to make a mad dash to the end of the level. The boss here is Choji, who's quite the easy boss both in RTA and in this task. He basically doesn't stand a chance, and we're able to stun lock him until he's defeated. Now is a good time to clarify that oftentimes you will see me hitting enemies with only the first 2 hits of Kakashi's 3-hit combo. This is because the third hit causes the enemy to get knocked down and wastes a fair bit of time versus frame perfectly wailing on them with your first 2 attacks. The boss in the second level of Mountain Trail is Shikamaru, and in an RTA run he is one of the hardest bosses in the game. He is a heavy jutsu spammer which wastes incredible amount of time, and the biggest optimization of this task was minimizing the amount of jutsus used through RNG manipulation. Now we are coming up to the grassy plains, where we will see a cool skip during the platforming section of this level. It occurs when we do an aerial attack off some crows, which gives us a large boost of vertical momentum and allows us to climb over a tree. In addition, we normally would need to get a scroll, which wastes a lot of time, but this jump makes it possible to skip the scroll. The boss here is Rock Lee. Usually once he is at half health, he will call Might Guy to his aid, who will heal him back to full HP and cause him to spam jutsus. This obviously wastes time, and we are able to use the exploit with Kakashi's attacks to get past this easily. By cancelling the first and second attacks of Kakashi's 3-hit combo, we are able to finish Rock Lee off by solely using the last hit, which causes a knockdown. For some reason, when knocked down, Rock Lee does not call for Might Guy's help. Right here you will see a very TAS-only trick which occurs when I do 2 aerial attacks over these 2 enemies to get over the tree. Here we will have to fight Haku, who is not super difficult, and TAS Kakashi makes quick work of him. Leaf Village Forest is another level which requires getting a scroll to complete. We use the scrolls to burn down the trees and make it to Kiba as fast as possible. Keep in mind, anytime you see me standing still, it's because I'm letting myself build up chakra. After a quick jump over this tree using an aerial attack, we have made it to Kiba. Kiba is an incredibly difficult fight, and it took quite a long time to TAS. He always wanted to use a jutsu right away, but somehow I was able to manipulate him to do something else. It was imperative in this fight to take Akamaru out of commission as soon as possible, so that I was able to stunlock Kiba and defeat him swiftly. This stunlock involves hitting Kiba with only the second and third attack of my 3-hit combo. The second level of Leaf Village Forest also includes some tree burning, as well as a repeat fight against Rock Lee. I will basically need to wait for my chakra bar to be completely full because there's a lot of trees that I need to burn down. Once I have done so, I'm able to freely run to the end of the level. This fight is essentially the exact same as the original, except he's a bit more aggressive here. This same exploit is still possible, however, to skip his act of cowardice and summoning Might Guy to help him. We are now in the Leaf Village and it is burning to the ground. As such, we will need to grab the water scroll to put out these fires so that we can progress. The movement used in these next two levels is quite TAS only, and has never been done before RTA. The Shino fight was incredibly hard to TAS, and my spacing had to be perfect in order to consistently land hits on him. If I was even just 1 pixel further away from him, his bug attack would hit me and cause a long damaging animation. Fortunately, I was able to find a way to avoid this attack over and over and defeat him quickly. This next level skips getting the scroll as well, which has never been done RTA before. It is an extremely difficult route, much more so than the previous level, and I do not see anyone completing it RTA anytime soon. The boss here is Neji, who will fearlessly scrap with us. We both consistently damage each other the whole fight, however we are able to do much more with our frame-perfect attacks. There is a strategy here which involves him using a jutsu and then stun-locking him immediately after, but this is much more of an RTA strat, as waiting for him to use a jutsu wastes a lot of time. Now that we're in the Ninja Academy, which is the second to last area for some reason, we will see the wind scroll used for the first time. These are scrolls which allow us to throw a tornado to gain massive height. You will see me use it throughout the level to skip large portions of the platforming. Tamari is an incredibly finicky boss fight, and can either be very easy or very difficult. Fortunately, she wasn't too bad here, and I was able to manipulate her to not use any jutsus throughout the fight, which was the biggest optimization. The second level of the Ninja Academy functions very similarly to the first level, using the wind scroll to skip past larger sections using flashy jumps and running directly to the boss Kankuro. Quick fun fact, today, May 15th, is Kankuro's birthday, and tomorrow is mine. Kankuro can be a very difficult boss in this game, as he loves to randomly use jutsus without any warning. It almost felt like every single hit that landed on him could have potentially caused him to use a jutsu, and I had to constantly play around with my timings to manipulate away his use of jutsus. We are now heading into the final area of the game, Village Mountain. These next two levels also feature the wind scroll, however we will not be getting it as it is not necessary. Instead, we will do some pretty cool movement over to Haku and fight him once more. This fight is also very similar to the first fight, and is quite trivial for TAS Kakashi. The only difference is she's a bit more aggressive, but with frame perfect attacking, it isn't too much of a problem for us. In this last platforming level, we will also skip the wind scroll here and instead perform some sweet parkour to launch ourselves over any obstacles as well as the tree at the very end of the level to get to our pseudo final boss, Zabuza. Zabuza is hard as hell. He can randomly parry basically any attack you do, has a massive shuriken which tears through you, and attacks faster than anyone else. This fight took an ungodly amount of time to TAS, as I felt like I had to try a million different timings for each attack on him to get it to work in a way that was beneficial to me. Now we just need to fight the true final boss in the game, Orochimaru. He is the worst. If you thought Zabuza was bad, Orochimaru is a million times worse for one reason and one reason only. He is the heaviest jutsu spammer in the game, and his jutsus waste an unbelievable amount of time. Somehow after many hours of testing different inputs and approaches, I was somehow able to manipulate away every single jutsu he would throw at me. Once we run up to the third Hokage and save our game, time stops. Thank you everyone so much for watching my TAS, and huge thanks to the Anime Speedruns Discord and the Anime Speedruns Festival for having me. Before I hop off, I have a few things that I want to mention about this run that I think is interesting. The first is that it is my opinion that getting a jutsu-less run is the absolute biggest feat of this TAS, and is definitely what allowed the sub 10 to be possible. Another fun fact for this run is that originally I did a TAS which was a 10:07, but I was so upset at how close I was to sub 10 that I had to redo the entire thing from scratch. It was a huge time sink, but the second time around I was equipped with much more knowledge and was finally able to smash the sub 10 barrier. This is the first marathon that I have ever been a part of despite speedrunning for 5 years. I really appreciate being part of this marathon, and I can't wait to see what other amazing runs come next. If you guys want more information about this run, I will be uploading my VOD to YouTube and will expand on the intricacies much more in the description there. Thank you everyone once again for watching. Peace out.